While fighting, Lefiya had already buried the trigger point, and at this moment, she targeted the monsters that wanted to devour Lefiya all at once, and used the last of her mental power to activate the magic. A total of 5 seats. The delicate green magic circle blossomed as if protecting Lefiya, and magic vines protruded from it, binding the monsters tightly, trapping them and fixing them in place. Although the monsters were not eliminated, they entangled and overlapped each other and became a defense wall. The monsters that were desperately trying to capture Lefiya were blocked by them. If they attacked the wall of flesh, there would be angry voices and cannibalism would immediately occur. Good job, Lefiya. Until the chant ended, the monster could no longer attack Lefiya. Luke and the others cheered in unison, focusing on the last remaining giant. At the same time the great command was issued, the one-armed Goliath also rushed forward, Luke and Cole rushed over, and Lefiya used her trembling fingers to catch the arrow. The master floor of LV4. It is impossible for students who are not even adventurers to stop them. Even so, the 7th team still used all wisdom, all improvisation and all strategies to launch a challenge. Luke aimed at the foot of Goliath who didn't even look at him, the wound carved by Lefiya, and delivered a full LV blow. 3. Taking advantage of her movements becoming monotonous, Cole picked up the nano girl and the chains from his weapons tied her feet. The one-armed body maintained an unstable balance, and finally, Lefiya shot an arrow into the monster's eye to complete the final thrust. Goliath screamed and fell to the ground, causing the ground to shake. Sweeping away thousands of armies, putting an end to the endless war. The floor boss was furious, roared, ripped off the chain, and ran away angrily. Luke and the others ran, but were thrown away. There are only 10 seconds left until the end of the corner. But still not enough. Goliath's outstretched hand will grab Lefiya first. The defensive battle on the 24th floor. Lots of piranhas. At that time, I was also being protected. In an instant, a strong feeling of déjà vu hit Lefiya. In the end, the monster launched an attack to crush her, but the one who blocked it was the girl Phyllis with the white shield chant. But now, no matter how good she was, she is gone. Lefiya's concentration was about to be broken, and at this very moment. But this kind of thing can't stop the giant's attack. There is simply no stopping him. However, for just a moment, Goliath's movements became sluggish. And this moment is enough. In the ears of the girl who sang before his eyes. The closed eyelids suddenly opened, and Nano extended his staff, aiming at the approaching giant. A direct blow to the stunned Goliath. A violent blast of lightning tore the giant's foot from the ground, and he ricocheted away with a deafening crash of thunder. It doesn't matter. Nano, who was exhausted, fell to the ground, and Luke and the others also fell. At this moment, behind the wide-eyed Lefiya, there was indeed a voice. Tears silently accumulated at the bottom of her eyes, and there was warmth on her shoulders, as if someone had placed a hand on them. Lefiya felt the warmth and showed a transparent smile. Burn it all, sword of Sutter. My name is Alf. Immediately afterwards, she started crying. The horizontally raised staff released explosive, magic power, a sharp resonance sounded, and the magic circle unfolded. Maximum expansion covers the entire hull. Both the monsters and Goliath stopped their movements due to the breath of magic power rising from their feet. At this moment, Lefiya chanted this huge magic. End lean Levitin. The red flame radiated brilliance and let out a roar of karmic fire. Countless thick pillars of flame shot out from the ground, piercing and burning the monster without leaving even a speck of dust, and disappeared along with the roaring flames. Even Goliath is no exception. The flames centered at the place where the giant body was pierced and gradually burned the surrounding area, and the floor master disappeared before he had time to fight the pain. Continuous burning. The scream of the fiery world cleans everything. Only the mute Luke and others were not set on fire by the pillar of flames. They held their breath to protect their lungs and stared blankly at the tops of their heads, where fragments of flame were flying in all directions. The strongest magician in the city, Riveria'S elf, complete annihilation magic. Her characteristic is perfect target. It expands the magic circle in a wide range, instantly distinguishes the enemy from companions, and just bury the enemy. This obligatory kill burns out the monster's roar, transforming the hall into the domain of the Red Lotus. The girl fell on her back, fascinated by the glow of the red flame world, when someone reached out her hand. She was the injured elf mage. A senior adventurer with a shadow of fear in Nano's heart. But now that shadow was also gone, and she shook her hair and smiled. "Thank you for protecting me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart." Upon seeing the elf's beautiful smile, Nano, who was still lying on the ground, began to cry. Although already in a state of mental exhaustion, she still stood up like a small animal, ignored the other's outstretched palm and hugged her tightly. Lefiya was surprised, but she buried her face in the other's neck and cried. She was like a daughter clinging to her mother, making noise, crying and sobbing. So good," she murmured deep in her sobs, tears wetting Lefiya's clothes. Just when Lefiya was lost, Luke and others, covered in scars, also leaned over and looked at the two girls with a peaceful smile. Milia couldn't take it anymore and also shed big tears, hugging Lefiya tightly. Why is this kind of place so similar? The saved past self overlapped with the current Nano and the others, and Lefiya smiled unconsciously, with some tears in her eyes. It's already the 17th floor. Is it really okay? They're waiting for rescue on other floors. It's useless to search layer by layer. Lefiya knows this too. So they must be in an area where they can be easily found. I thought so too, but everyone is still too fast. Tioni leaned back, Aze nodded and followed Elfie at a slower pace. Tiona hugged the one who managed to keep up with the first-level adventurer, and put her on her left shoulder, and then there was a scream. Aze and the others' equipment was stained. They have been working hard for a long time to remove the collapsed rocks. With the tireless efforts of Gareth and the others, the path to the regular road was secured. At the same time, the four of them rushed out and ran to the 17th floor. Anyway, go to the Great Wall of Sighs first. Tioni was interrupted by a violent vibration in the middle of her speech. It was as if a powerful magic exploded, and the entire world shook, and Aze and the others looked at each other in shock, and then sped up. Thanks to no monsters, they rushed to the main passage in an instant. And when the corridor in the deepest part of the floor finally came into view. Exclamation point. Hey, who is this? He wears silver armor covering his upper body. He is tall and holds a large longsword in his hand. Elfie hurriedly got out of Tiona's stunned shoulders and, seeing the blonde lion hair and Knight back, the A's eyes suddenly widened. Dark Knight. Perhaps hearing this alias, the man in front of his line of sight, Leon turned his head. Noticing A's and the others, he continued laughing for some reason and quickly walked away. He moved out of the way and showed A's and the others the scene in the hallway. Lefiya. I'm relieved now, the students seem to be here too. It's great that everything is okay. A's and Tiona were full of joy. Tioni touched her chest, and Elfie said in her usual tone, hiding her tears. Lefiya was surrounded by the students, hugged one of them tightly and patted the other on the back. Lefiya, you can laugh now. Tiona smiled brightly like the sun, and Aze also narrowed her eyes and nodded. The girl looked worried, but she showed the real Lefiya smile. For a while, Aze and the others didn't move, they just stared at her. The banal answer you gave me in the end defeated Goliath and the monsters, and Nano and the others jumped on them and cried for a long time. Lefiya and Aze, who came to the rescue, managed to open the blocked communication channel and went down to the 18th floor. Lefiya was also exhausted and the 7th squad was even more exhausted. Even though it was for them, They had to rest for a while before returning to the ground, so they went to Rivera.